Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and another Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 3rd of August 2018. Let's roll the titles! Roll them then. Roll the goddamn titles! Yes, you delightful people, thank you very much for tuning into the RichTheMan channel. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell notification so when my videos pop up, you get to see them first. But without further ado, there's a lot of stories I want to get into. There's about 9 stories or more. So let's jump into Marvel Contest of Champions news. Our first story takes us over to Android. And why are we over in Android? Well, I run both devices. You don't really get in trouble for running 2 devices. I just like getting the Sony exclusive from time to time. And as well, the story of today and the moral of the story, if you can, have 2 devices on Apple and also a Google-based device. Why? Because sometimes you'll get access to special unit-based rewards. Rewards? That's the wrong terminology, but offers. Because this offer came in as a Peter Parker wallet and 60% off the units. Yeah, okay. Lots of people have different thoughts on this. Some people have gone moan. Others have gone yes. And it's very difficult to obviously win all camps on the subject. I myself think that it's a good idea that something goes to the lovely people who play on Android devices solely because, you know, they don't get things from time to time. Yeah, okay, people get stuff on Apple and also people get stuff on Android, but Android has always been a kind of substandard priority when it comes to getting things done for Marvel Contest of Champions. It's one of the main reasons that I switched over to play predominantly on an iOS-based device based on game optimization, speed and other things. I hear from reports that Android are, you know, they're doing a lot better with performance. So I'm hoping that I can then at a later date maybe go back and get the latest Samsung based device and have a really decent experience playing the game. Either way, I've got no opinion myself on this. I think that it's fine. Some people will go, we want more. Some people will go, it's an offer. And other people will just, well, I don't know. That's really the main opinions that I get from people that I've spoken to about this particular offer. Our next story brings us over to Marvel Insider and 2 new things for Marvel Contest of Champions. We've got a little crystal and also we got cork. So that's cool. It's nice to have those things. If you did want to do the activities, then we've got activities this month. Yay, because last month was a bit of a joke. I don't know what the ruling was that. I don't know if it's going to be every other month for something of an activity for Marvel Contest of Champions. We'll have to keep tuned to this and see what happens next month. Will we see an activity or not? Our next story, I'm focusing on the Tier 4 class catalyst trade-in thingy crystal doodad. This has been a little bit frustrating for some players and it hasn't really paid off. So the example in here is that this particular person, gentleman, female, put in 3 of a cosmic and got a skill Tier 4 class catalyst back. They then found out that they felt that they had too many skill and decided that they trade in the 3 skill and found they got a cosmic back. And you can see where this thing becomes a little bit frustrating to the player base when they want to get rid of things that they don't want and instead getting back the things that they don't want as well. So hopefully there's a little bit of luck with this, but do be expected that if you're trading in and hoping for something, that chances are you are going to be let down by it. But I suppose there's a chance that you get the other ones that you may want in the future. Next up, let's talk about this month's event quest, especially and mainly focused on uncollected. There's 3 champions which people have found quite frustrating. Heimdall is one of them, then it's the Super Hydra Adaptoid, and then we've got Red Skull. To some players, they haven't been too great playing off them. I must admit the lag wasn't particularly great for the launch on Wednesday for this event, so some players may have found that a bit frustrating and maybe I know the difficulty is then the right champions for the right thing. I like to kind of wait my time a little bit, do a chunk of it, then go into Heroic, Master, and then go into Uncollected. It means that you get to understand the champions a bit more. You can watch things of like the different move sets, but at the same time, your own experience is your best experience as to where and how the champions play out against you. There's going to be different champions that come along that you'll go, right, well, these will be best suited, but you'll only know that from playing them in Heroic and Master first. So you're not wasting your resources in uncollected. Some players will go, yes, well, I'm really, oh, I'm an amazing player. Good, fantastic, that is great for you. But for those that struggle a little bit, do heroic, do master. But this month's great because you can actually do master straight away. So you get an experience of maybe a little bit more difficult than normal champions. So do that first, then go on to them. Understand, do I keep them at L1? Do I keep them at L2? Find out the things. I mean, Heimdall, you get 2 special bars to begin with. A lot of players are saying that maybe it's easier, and that's the quote. That's the word of the day. Not like, oh yes, do it like this. No, but to make the situation easier is to swipe back and go into a block. And some players are saying that that is an easier point to kind of absorb those that special 2 very early on. It went as far as to say that there's been feedback on this from a number of different players. This particular post here got a response by Kabam Mike, and he points you to a post that's going to be helpful, but at the same time says, no rants in the forum. You've been warned. Next up, we got to talk about this glitch. This is one of my favorite ones so far, because it's like, as you see here, like random champions are appearing in kind of fights. So you'll see this kind of like this versus one versus the other, and it's like you've got like the enemy champions just there like this. What, me? Well, why am I? Just carry on. Just carry on. I'll just be over here. Either that, they look like they've given someone a bit of a telling off, like they've gone, hey, Dr. Strange, get into that wall, right? You face that wall and think about what you've done. Think about your actions there. Think about your actions, and you're not to turn around for 5 minutes, just like a naughty little schoolboy. Either way, this was brought to the attention of Kabam Zibbet, and I don't know if this is going to be looked at. It doesn't look like there's much activity on this post whatsoever, so I don't think it's been noticed. I wonder if it happens again. If anybody has it, send me through the screenshots on like social media, because it is funny when I see it. They all make me laugh, especially the teeth bug where they look like, it's like, it's so funny. I love that bug as well. Next up, and we see the return of the Act 1.1.5 revive and health thing. And the thing is basically, back in the day, if you're not familiar with this, Kabam thought that the revive that appeared consistently in Act 1.5, it was an exploit, and they decided to remove it. In this particular post, it's saying that it was there for a time, but wasn't collected at the end. Whether or not this was an issue by Kabam, kind of a visual bug, that's something that they decided to remove, then had an appearance there, so the image of the revive or the health potions appeared there, but you couldn't get them at the end. I don't know. I've gone into the quest today and it is not there. No even visual aspect. So, and it's just chests. It's just 1 or 2 star chests. So whatever it was, if Kabam got wind of this, it had obviously been sorted out at the point of this forum post being launched. Next, we see the return of MCOC Mod, who posts a video that highlights the special abilities, the kind of general attacks of Heimdall, Korg, and as well we've got Red Skull. I'm still undecided whether or not this is more of a red skull than an Iron Skull, but it does indeed feel more like a Red Skull, especially because of the use of the Tesseract, which we all wanted to really see something like that. If you want to get an understanding of certain things with the specials and the way that the champions strike, this is a good video for it. There was a trailer that was put on the Marvel Contest Champions Drukos page, so there's lots of things going around, but if you did want to watch this video, a link to this is in the description below. Next up, I want to talk about passive buffs. Now, I've got my own opinions on this, but I'm just going to cover this in a generic sense. So to mainly point out, the reason that we've kind of brought this to your attention is, yeah, Iron Man Infinity War. Passive effects with buffs, a lot of champions get them. Yes, the focus on this is all about a passive armor effect and how certain champions, like for example Medusa, interact with things that are armor break or armor shattering capabilities, and how in some cases, and in this case it's not a case it works correctly, but doesn't. The clear aspect, and you'll need to read through this forum post, which I did find quite fascinating. But to kind of rationalize it, that it was really the thing, kind of the discussion of how a champion like Medusa deals with armor breaks and kind of shattered armor, and how that theoretically would work with that. With how we understand the descriptions and the classifications, does it confuse players and doesn't really give them much kind of guidance on certain things? And as well, the way that certain champions that work out with buffs, certain other champions get buffs, as we know, the way that you can't obviously nullify things of a passive buff, and the way that passive buffs are being added to the game, and Does it make us as players a little bit dubious? Does it make us a little bit scared of going up against them, as we can't really, do we feel helpless? Half the time I feel that I don't really enjoy the idea of passive buffs. I get them, I think they're good for an evolution of the game, but I don't really enjoy them, and I think you have to adapt to change, which we all have to do, but at the same time I'm not really sold on them as a thing within the game at the moment. What I was thinking of doing is doing a further video on this about passive effects or passive buffs in game. If anybody wants to put anything in the comments, like your opinions on the matter, then I will bring that to light when doing said video, but only if people really want to comment on that, then I can do a bit more. Right, we've got a real issue on our hands, something that I'm not particularly happy with. I can't remember if I covered this, and I think I did a brief section about this particular story, but it's getting rather out of hand. Basically, arena rewards at the start of the week were not given out, and some event rewards even were not given out, which, as we know, is very disappointing, especially because now this is Thursday. This is Thursday the 3rd, and those rewards should have been given out on the Monday. This is a long time since those rewards should have been distributed, and the particular rewards, I know a Cornucopia as well as Clash were meant to be given out. They weren't, and I think there may have been another event in there, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, this is disappointing to see. The update at the moment is that they're still looking into it, and they apologise for the slowness, but I think a lot of players, especially in this forum post, which now has about 7 different pages to it, are pretty frustrated with this. And it's not that they depend on those rewards, but when, you know, you're kind of like not too trusting with the developer for certain things, they're just like, well, this should be an easier thing. Why wasn't this distributed? Either way, we'll follow this story, and hopefully we can give you an update further when you're getting rewards. But I know it's very not soul destroying, but it's very disappointing. Next up, and to end on a laugh, we've got some memes. I don't know why Kabam decided to do this. They opened up the floor to being memed incredibly hard. So Kabam Videos goes, yes, memes are fun. Yeah, shouldn't have allowed that, because then opened up the floor for everybody just going completely hard on the developer. And you thought you would get a good 5-star. There was an idea. Yeah, someone suggesting a featured Colossus in the crystal. Gets checked out the window. Downloading, and then it's triggered. This one I like. The kind of here, take this. It's like still trying to connect. Problems connecting. Typical. Y'all got any more of them rank down tickets? I don't always have focus, but when I do, I immediately get hit and lose it. Alliance base, you're relieved of your duties when you go all out on feature Grandmaster crystals. This is my favorite one. I don't always do a heavy attack, but when I do, I was trying to do a light attack. Yeah, exactly. Like that is my sentiment there. Yeah. Kabam IT guy. It's Baby Groot. There's a whole host of different memes. That's been Marvel Contest of Champions news. Hope you enjoyed the news today. If you did, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with stuff that we're covering. We're covering stuff with regards to the game, some fun stuff, you know, lots of different and great things. Well, mainly Marvel Contest of Champions related. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I've been RichTheMan, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.